Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Monday, January 28th, 2019. Going to be taking your calls tonight. If I'm covering a topic and there's something you really want to chime in and say about that topic, maybe something I'm missing, an observation you got, you have the number. It's 509-731-0567. Again, the number to call in should see in the description of the video. It's 509-731-0567. If you do call in, please try to do it on the topic I'm discussing at the moment. At the end, I'll just open it up for everyone's calls. But I want to start right here because it's local. Of course, I'm on the West Coast. I'm in Washington State, grew up in Portland, Oregon. Before this news story broke over the weekend about the measles outbreak, they've declared a state of emergency in Washington. Also, this is going on in Oregon, too. They're saying somebody went with measles to the Portland Trail Blazers game. Before any of this happened, it was probably about 10 days ago. My mom, some of you might know, she sells wreaths, so she makes a lot of trips to the post office. And I think it was about 10 days ago now. She called me up and she goes, "It was so strange. I just went in the post office and they were warning us all that somebody was just in there with measles." And they were also telling the people coming in that they should shut the post office down, but they're not going to. And I was thinking, that sounds really weird. You know, they're telling you somebody just came in there with measles. They should shut it down, but they're not going to. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if they're just trying to scare you guys or what. But now, next thing you know, the big news story, the state of emergency in Washington and coming in Oregon soon. But just notice, measles has that Gematria 74. And it almost seems funny to me that they didn't start this in Oregon in light of Oregon being the only state of the 50 states that has an ordinal Gematria 74. And for those of you who don't know, Oregon's the 33rd state. It used to once be the massive territory. Washington came out of the old Oregon state. Washington's the 42nd state. Freemason 42, Masonic 74. When you write out 42, it's 74. So anyway, as soon as I saw these headlines break, I said, oh, no wonder they were doing that at the post office. It just made me wonder how many post offices and government buildings they were doing that at the same day my mom called me up and told me the news. So just a reminder to go get your shots, your vaccinations. You know, they want to put that mercury inside you. Also today, saw this, one of the top stories today on CNN. Fake video is coming. The U.S. government is racing to fight it. And what this is about is this new artificial intelligence that can be used to take anyone's face and rearrange the way their mouth is moving and the words that are coming out. So, for example, if you took one of my YouTube videos or anybody's, you'd be able to use this new artificial intelligence, I guess, to, change directly what they're saying. And they're saying this could be a big problem for propaganda. Somebody could put out a video of an important person in the world saying something they never said, and just imagine the damage that could do. And it's funny how the article's written are from the perspective of the government trying to stop propaganda from misleading people. And it's like, what a joke that is. I mean, what else do government and media do besides mislead people? And anyway, it'll be interesting to see how stories involving this new technology emerge over the years now that it's been introduced to us. And in the reporting, they say, people could start telling lies about September 11th, as if that hasn't already happened, So, for the record, they're calling this fake video, and I couldn't help but notice that has the Gematria 42, like Freemason, like TV, like computer, like internet. So that was an eye catcher. Since October, I've been paying attention to the pattern with Wall Street. On dates with 68 numerology, the market has been performing poorly. And the word market itself has gematria of 68. Since October, remember October was where we had the very bad October 10th day, the third worst day in market history. And that was the date forecast in the Economist cover from 1988, the January 9th, 1988 cover with the Phoenix coming out of the burning money. That cover said, get ready for a one world currency, and predicted 2018. Well, obviously it's going to be after 2018, but I've just been paying attention to the patterns in the market very carefully ever since October. And I've noticed each month where we have the 68 date, it's a poorly performing day for the market. And again, in Gematria, market equals 68. We have Donald Trump, aka Humpty Dumpty. The House of Cards, don't forget his name is 68 as well, too. Announced as the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Had his presidential GOP convention in Cleveland, home of Quicken Loans Arena, who around the same time Trump became president, Quicken was running the ad for Humpty Dumpty falling off his wall. And don't forget, Humpty Dumpty equals 58, like Donald Trump, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. So for you investors out there, beware on the 68 dates. Seems to be a very recurring pattern right now. Also, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this. Sorry for those of you who are living in the way of this. They're saying the coldest air in decades is going to impact 75% of the nation. And you can see the sliver along the West Coast. We're supposed to escape it. But what I noticed here today, and I'm sure it's true all over the whole nation, I think today might be the worst chemtrailing I've seen since I moved to this new location in the middle of Washington State. And where I've lived, where I live now, it's near a military base. Of course, there's military bases all over this nation, but today was just crazy. I mean, it was like the entire sky was a tic-tac-toe board, and just nonstop spraying all day. And I was thinking, like, whatever they're doing, it has to be some well-organized mad science that truly is, making the weather a machine. And I'm pretty sure the spraying we see going on in Washington State today, which is likely going on all throughout the nation, is part of this weather system that's moving through much of the country, bringing these very cold temperatures. And yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, I really do think that out of all the things happening in the world, like if you just have to boil it down to what people really need to wake up to at this moment, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, there's just so many lies and agendas, but the weather modification is huge because, I mean, just look at it. It's insanity. There is mad chemistry happening above our heads, day and night. We don't know what the health consequences of this are. We don't know what it's doing to the food we eat. Some of us buy food that says organic, but I'm just wondering, is any food even really organic anymore? I mean, I don't know how food can be grown without it being impacted by what we see happening in the skies all over the world. And it's just so concerning. It's just so concerning. And I did upload a little video today of the sky above, or I didn't upload it, but I recorded it on my phone, just what the skies look like here. The nonstop spray. I might upload it later, but not that you guys haven't seen it before. We've all seen the chemical skies, those of us who are awake. And it just makes me wonder. I mean, what is the cost? What is the economic expense of spraying the skies across the nation, across the world? You got to pay for the planes, the fuel, whatever it is, the material that they're putting up there. It's got to be an enormous budget. Then again, we had the story about 2 months ago. Harvard and Yale put out the study that said in about 15 years we should start spraying the skies. What did they call it? Some sort of dimming to stop global warming. So, and they said the budget for that could be something like $7 billion annually. It's hard to believe it could be that small of amount. I mean, that's a lot of money, but just as massive as the operation is. So noticed how they said Chicago will have its coldest temperatures in 25 years, and led to them picking out Chicago, the windy city, and to be in this deep freeze. I couldn't help but notice the gematria of freeze 97 and 25, where 97 is the 25th prime number. So hopefully you guys stay warm. But again, it's just a reminder why we have to help wake up our fellow man, because so many people, and that's also the scariest thing about the spraying of the skies, is just how people do not see what's happening right in front of their face. What should be undeniable. I thought September 11th, the lies of that day were undeniable, but the spraying of the skies, it's even more obvious. So here's another story that's big in the news today. Tom Brokaw said Mexican immigrants should try to assimilate into U.S. society. And for those remarks, he's being made to apologize. And talk about political correctness gone overboard. I mean, I honestly don't see what's so offensive about those remarks. And to make a point, my dad's in one of the most interesting relationships I've ever seen. His girlfriend is a woman. She's a really sweet lady. She speaks hardly any English, and my dad doesn't speak a lick of Spanish. She's a really sweet lady. And again, she's from Mexico City. She's lived here since 1985. So she's been in the country for well over 30 years now. She just became a citizen maybe a year ago. Time's flying. Could have been a year and a half ago. It wasn't that long ago that she officially became a citizen. She studied for the test. She's been improving her English, but still doesn't speak much English. And the whole time she's been in the country, she'd worked the same job. She worked in a freezer cutting meat, and hard work to do for 30 years. She was sick all the time. Her body ached because, I mean, all day she's working in a freezer. And my dad worked her. My dad met her working that job. My dad worked for that meat company for a while too. So my dad's done most of his adult life. Drive trucks for meat companies. Recently, he started working for bus company after he met this woman. Now he drives a bus. But this woman, she worked a hard job. It was hard on her health, and she got paid this measly wage. She was making $10 an hour. And that's not what they started her at, but that's what she was up to after working for the same company for decades. And anyhow, my dad recently was like, I think we need to find you a better job. And so she started working on her English a little bit. And probably about 4 or 5 months ago, she finally left that meat job and got a job at a warehouse. Now she's moving boxes around in a warehouse, but she works better hours. She's not in a freezer. And this new place pays her $16 an hour. And the reason it took her so long to get a better job is because she never assimilated into American culture. So, I mean, not that American culture is so great, but I take Tom Brokaw's remarks as saying, like, if you want to improve your situation in the society, you should learn a little bit about it, and you should learn the language, and that's all I think he was trying to say. And a part of me is looking at this and going, maybe he's getting this backlash and shaming because so many major corporations don't want Mexicans to learn English because they want to keep exploiting them. And for example, they want to keep them in a freezer working for no money. So I don't know. I mean, just our society is a joke. It's like, who cares if he made these remarks? Does this really need to be the top story all day that Tom Brokaw said Mexican people should try to assimilate into U.S. culture? I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. And then plus, like I said, I have this real world story where I can understand, if you're going to live here, there is a reason to assimilate and to learn a little bit more about English. Might put you a world ahead. I mean, imagine making $10 an hour and being sick all the time and hurting all the time from working in the freezer. and then finding a better job just like almost overnight and getting paid $16 an hour. She probably could have done that a long time ago. So, anyway, every day, just some nonsensical distraction story that doesn't make any sense, and it never ends. There's a death in the football world in the news. Julius Campbell, star high school football player, had the movie Remember the Titans made about him, which Denzel Washington starred in. He died at age 65. 65. He died January 25th, 2019, which was a date with 65 numerology. And the film is about race relations in sports. In light of him dying at age 65, it's interesting that the word white with the alphabetic order is 65. Of course, he was a black man trying to make it in the days of a lot more blank shaming in the world of sports, black people being kept out of pro sports. So anyway, dead at 65, dead on a date with 65 numerology. And this comes right before the Super Bowl, where there's a team that's attempting to go 6-5. The Super Bowl is going to close out the 99th NFL season. And look at the name of the high school that he went to, that the movie was made about. T.C. Williams High School, 99 in our most pure cipher. This right before the 99th NFL season. And the other thing this reminds me of, just the word Titans. Speaking of news and sports, don't ever forget that last year, when the Patriots played the Titans in the divisional round of the AFC playoffs, that was January 13th, 2018. That morning was the day that Hawaii got the big missile scare, where they got the emergency alert at 8:08 in the morning. Hawaii's the 808 area code. They got that alert that a missile was inbound. They should take cover. A lot of people thought it was the end of their life. On that same day in history, January 13th, way back when, that was the day the USS Boston landed on Hawaii, dropping off Marines that helped take down the Hawaiian government that was there in place at the time. And next thing you know, Hawaii was on its way to being a U.S. territory, and then the 50th and final state. But that same day in history, the USS Boston had landed on Hawaii. And remember, the Patriots were playing the Titans, and the star quarterback of the Titans was Marcus Mariota, who grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii. So I think there's some hidden meaning to this Titans word as well. And I'm just thinking about that in light of the Patriots again. Here we are in another Patriots riddle. Titans. There's something there I'm not getting yet. But it's easy to see why this guy goes down just before the final game of the 99th NFL season. In case you missed the video I put out yesterday, we've been talking about all year how Tom Brady saw a bear in the Montana woods. And then just the other day, a college football player at the Montana Grizzlies supposedly committed suicide. A 22-year-old killed himself on the 22nd, reportedly. In Missoula equals 53, like Super Bowl 53 upcoming. Another story going on today. Donald Trump accepts Nancy Pelosi's invite to the State of the Union. They had to bump it back to February 5th. And you just got to go, look, the government's back open. Why not just do it at the regular time? I mean, what's the big deal? Is it this hard for Congress to show up? Or why not just have it at the regular time? Well, of course, because it's all ritual. So they got to put it on a more perfect day, February 5th. Why have Trump give the State of the Union on February 5th? Well, of course, because Trump equals 25, so does Pence. This is a number we've been talking about with Donald Trump throughout his entire presidency. From the very beginning, they've been saying this might be the first president to be removed with the 25th Amendment, where the Congress and the vice president have to have a certain number to okay the removal of the president. So I'm just thinking about that in light of the State of Union being on 2/5 now before the Congress. February 5th can be written 2/5 or 5/2. Don't forget president's 52. So was government. So was authority. So was Kabbalah. So was Gematria. So was Tree of Life. So was the Cabal, a term that comes from Kabbalah. The other thing about February 5th, 19 is it'll be a date with 26 numerology. And this news comes on the 28th of this month. Union in the base ciphers has Gematria 26 and 28. The State of the Union. Donald Trump saying another shutdown might be coming. If so, that'll be after the State of the Union because the government's funded through February 8th. Over the weekend, one of the top stories was the young 21-year-old man supposedly killing his family, his mother, father, his girlfriend, her father, and one other person. Put out a video on this over the weekend. Today, this morning, they had an update. Family of Louisiana shooting victims went from happy to broken in the span of 24 hours. And what jumps out about this story is it happened. The killing was January 26, 2019. The date was 66 numerology. Happy with the alphabetic order 66. Story about killing his family. Family 66. They said both parents were 50 years old. 50, 66. They went from happy to broken. Broken has that Gematria 97 like death. And the father, some of the other names mentioned here, Billy Ernest had the 66 encoded. Rhonda Champagne remembered reading a post on Facebook about a shooting Saturday where 5 people had been slain. There's been a lot of 5s lately in deaths. But that name, Rhonda Champagne, 74. Other father named Billy Ernest, 66. And just in case you missed the story, just look at this photo right here. For anybody who's ever been to jail, have you ever gotten a mugshot like this posing between the jail cells? And does he even have cuffs on? I mean, this just doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. All right, let me take this call real quick. Call, are you in the live stream?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Not much. So I heard what you said about the Tennessee Titan, or the death of the guy from Remember the Titans, and the first thing that made me think about was the last Super Bowl. The last Super Bowl that the Titans were in, because they were facing the Rams.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It ended at the goal line with Kevin Dyson.
And it was also played in Atlanta.
Great.
Just like where the Super Bowl is being played.
Great reminder.
So the score of that game was 23-16. A sum of 39 points. If you write out Tennessee's acronym, 10, it sums to 39. And I feel as if I kind of lost my train of thought there. But 39 is an important number to Freemasonry. Masonry sums to 39 in the base ciphers. And I also find it kind of interesting that the Rams won with 23 points. Because remember, it was number 23 that had the big play in the Saints-Rams game during this playoffs that kept the game at 23-23 to send the game to overtime. So
Right.
I'm not too sure. I was just looking at this quickly. I didn't see too much else that popped out, but I just wanted to make that point.
Well, great point. And
it's also, if you write out Titans, it sums to 19, or Titan, the single version, it sums to 19 in for reduction.
Right.
And 19 years since the 2000 Super Bowl.
Great work. Awesome job.
Thank you very much.
All right, you have a good night, man.
All right, take care.
We got another caller. What's going on, caller?
How you doing, Zach?
Oh, hold on. Let me get you on speaker. Okay, you're ready now. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
All right. I have just one observation I made earlier today. There was a former Rams player named Isaiah Robertson that died in a car crash early December. And I'm just wondering if there's like any correlation to the Rams being in the Super Bowl now. I'm really new to Gematria, and I actually just paid for your Patreon like 2 days ago, and I'm very glad that I did, because I've been reading your book for like 24 hours, and it's like changed my life really, and how I view sports and the news and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to see if there's any correlation between the two.
Okay, I'm sure there is. So, did he die? All right, he died December 6th. I want to see if I covered this already. I'm not sure I was aware of this death until just now. Let me see if I covered this.
Yeah, he died in a car crash.
Okay, I did cover this. All right. Yeah, there's just so many deaths time of year I forget. So, he was 70. Wait a minute. What do I have here?
He was 69.
Right. Hold on. So he died. Okay, he died on the first night of the Week 14 games. We were talking about dead and end have Gematria 14. Football equals 43, which is the 14th prime. Masonic killing, they're all 43. Tim Rosevich, another NFL player, died that same night. Tim Rosevich. This man died 112 days after his birthday. Isaiah Robertson in Super Bowl. Super Bowl equals 112. Jared Goff is playing in this Super Bowl exactly 112 days after his birthday. That's also 16 weeks, where 53 is the 16th prime. When you write out 14, it equals 112 as well, and he died on the first night of Week 14. His name, Isaiah Robertson, the way he spells it, equals 73. Tim Rosevich, the same guy who died, or the other guy, the other football player who died that same day, Tim Rosevich is 73. So is Sacrifice and Ritual Sacrifice. We have another football player dead who I'm going to cover later to this podcast, former Oakland Raider, who's also dead at 73. That story just emerged today.
Oh, wow. Do you know how he died?
Cancer. They're saying the guy who I'm going to cover in a little bit, they said he died from cancer. He's a former Oakland Raider. So, but yeah, man, I see that it just makes me feel bad that I covered this and I'd already forgotten. But yeah, Isaiah Robertson and Tim Rosevich, former NFL players, both dead the same night. And in Rosevich's case, it was from a long illness, they said, but both on the opening night of Week 14 of the NFL season. In Rosevich's case, he died 38 weeks after his birthday. Death's 38. His name had the Gematria 62, 73, and 170. Sacrifice has Gematria of 73, 62, and 170. So, and this other guy who died was college roommates with Tom Selleck, the actor.
Wait, which one, Isaiah or Tim?
Tim Rosevich. In the story, he was roommates with Tom Selleck. So, and he died 311 days after Tom Selleck's birthday, which is the 64th prime, and kill equals 64. So, yeah, there was definitely something up with that, and it was likely a Super Bowl riddle because, again, 112 days after his birthday, Super Bowl's 112, and like I said, Goff's playing in the Super Bowl 112 days after his birthday. So,
but would that ritual, like the riddle, whatever, would that like benefit the Rams or the Patriots? Like, I'm confused on that.
I wouldn't make any calls like that because you can't say for sure that a team's going to win. It's just like oftentimes the sacrifice is just part of the ritual of that team being in the big event, you know?
Right.
So
that's fucked up, man. Really.
It is.
Sorry.
Well, no, man. Well, that's the right word to describe it. I don't mind with the cussing. You can cuss on here. You're not supposed to cuss on my radio show on TFR, but you can cuss on my podcast. And those are the words that describe what it is. I mean, it's sick.
Sick, man. Well, you have a good night. You said that if we pay the $5, which I have, and I'm glad I did, that we would get your Super Bowl pick, but I haven't seen that on your page or anything.
Oh, well, then the night I advertised it, well, maybe you watched the video after I advertised it, but I said I talk about who I like in the Super Bowl in the 2 videos detailing the conference championship. But I'll do another video on it. And anyway, go back and look at the videos I did right after the conference championships were over. Because in there I say very clearly who I like.
Okay. All right, I will do. I actually kind of want to keep watching the podcast, but I'll do it after.
Yeah, exactly. Do it after, man. And make sure you watch the video I just put out yesterday on number 26 for the Patriots. So,
I already did. Sony Michelle?
Yeah. All right, so you're on it, man. But yeah, check out those videos once this podcast is over.
All right, sounds great.
All right, have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too.
Take care. Yeah, I mean, this work is like, it really is information overload, but it always makes me feel bad when I forget these deaths that I covered and they aren't even that long ago. But again, it's just because there's so many. There are so many. And they're always rolling in when you're awake and paying attention. But just in case you missed this story right here, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, who gets their shot at the jail like this? I can tell you from firsthand experience, I didn't. But anyway, supposedly he was captured in Virginia on January 27th, the day after killing his family and others. Virginia 127, captured on January 27th. This is also the day Kamala Harris announced that had her first campaign for her 2020 presidential run. Her full name equals 127, like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. This guy right here, when I put out the video, Lucas Shum, he pointed out that there's a Ryan Thoreau in the Baton Rouge area. This young man's name's supposed to be Thoreau. And the killing spree was in the Baton Rouge area. But he points out there's a MLB player with this name. And he was born on December 7th, another 127. So we're going to have to look more into that. Is there a relation here? Is this some sort of a riddle in the news that's connected to sports? But in light of this kid getting busted on January 27th, the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry Day, his name has perfect overlap. Dakota Thoreau was Scottish Rite Sunday. And he was caught in Richmond County, 74, killing Masonic English Gematria cult, par for the course. Then the day prior, this was a story of death, murder, and killing out of Louisiana. Death, murder, killing, RIP. They're all 38 like Louisiana, like the name Dakota. They said he was 21 years old. It was a date with 21 numerology. They said he killed 5. 5 has the Gematria 21. This number is really coming up this month. 5. A lot of 5 dead in shootings. He ended up getting caught on a Sunday, which I wondered at the time if he might. That was the day of the week that would have fit the 21 pattern. He did. And this was in the Baton Rouge area. The day of the killings, 46 numerology, Baton Rouge 46. So put out a video on that this weekend. The one thing that's really interesting is the athlete connection. So we'll have to look more into that. Today it was announced that the Robert Mueller probe is coming to an end. Remember, it began May 17th, 2017. And why does that date matter? May 17th is the 137th day of the year. Washington, D.C. equals 137. So does government. So does authority. So does White House. 137 is the 33rd prime. Federal, masonry, secrecy, order. They all sum to 33. So does the name Robert. All in the same cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. And Robert Mueller's birthday is August 7th. Russia equals 87. It's the Russia investigation. The whole thing is a puppet show. What I find interesting about what they emphasized here, close to being completed, it has that Gematria 93, like Saturn. Saturn's connected to time and judgment. So what's the ruling going to be when this thing comes to a close? There's been a number of people connected to Trump who've been arrested. What's going to happen for the man at the center of the investigation? You got people in the Democratic Party ready to start the impeachment process. The last president to get impeached was Bill Clinton. Who did Donald Trump run against? Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton took office in 93. So we'll see. And with regards to 93 being the Saturn number, remember in Jewish gematria, Saturn equals 511, and Trump's campaign for president was exactly 511 days. Not by accident. Here's another story over the weekend. it got more attention on Fox News than it did CNN. But supposedly there was a 19-year-old undocumented immigrant on a killing spree in Reno, Nevada. And remember, Reno, Nevada was a interesting city for Trump on the campaign trail. He had an assassination scare there. Reno, Nevada has that gematria of 45. 45. Remember, Donald Trump, number 45, announced as the 45th president-elect on the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. In the same cipher, Berlin Wall's 45. This story, part of the narrative of why we need to build the wall and to keep out all these dangerous illegal immigrants, even though natural-born Americans are more likely to be criminals and killers by a large margin. You know, the majority of people who are in this country illegally are people who came here for employment, for work. And that's just the fact of the matter. And again, it all goes back to NAFTA. When NAFTA was passed in the 90s, it was foretold that this would boost illegal immigration into this nation because we were going to put an entire nation of farmers out of business. And that's exactly what we did. You know, corn farming, big business in Mexico, and it was killed overnight with NAFTA. So bad economic policies for our neighbors are what created the problem, and it was all understood even before it happened. The name of this man, the name of this 19-year-old man in 2019, don't forget chaos equals 19. The agenda's order out of chaos. Notice this paragraph here. Wilbur Ernesto Martinez Guzman, 19, was arrested January 19th. He was arraigned Thursday on 36 charges of burglary, possession of stolen property, and obtaining money by false pretenses. Prosecutors said he was found with weapons and other items stolen from the homes of the 4 victims. So January 19th, I mean, does that date not remind you of November 9th, the day the Berlin Wall fell? Don't forget Donald equals 119 in Jewish gematria. But notice what his name sums to 137. You know, that magical number. In Washington, D.C., 137, White House, 137, government, authority, they're all 137. The 33rd prime, the cornerstone for Washington, D.C. was laid on a date with 137 numerology, and not by accident. So here's the latest football player headline. This came out today. Dwayne Benson, former Oakland Raider, dead at 73. He died on January 26th. That's the number we're really watching for this Super Bowl. The season began on the 26th of Elul on a date with 26 numerology. If you were following me at the beginning of the NFL season, we were talking about 26 this, 26 that. It was just a bombardment of news stories having to do with 26-year-olds. If you were there in September, I'm sure you remember. And we just saw the AFC win the Super Bowl with 26 points. Here's a former member of the AFC Oakland Raiders, now dead at 26, and at that age of 73. They said he died January 26, 19. January 26, 19 was a date with 46 numerology. Sacrifice with the alphabetic order 73. Sacrifice with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology is 46. And again, this code's biblical. Genesis 46 begins with a sacrifice. His name, Dean Dwayne Benson, his full name in the most pure cipher is 57. That's our number that's related to the Super Bowl. When you write out 57 as a word, just using the alphabetic order, 57 championship Super Bowl, they all sum to 131. That's the 32nd prime number. NFL has 32 teams. NFL with the alphabetic order is 32. They call itself America's Game. America's 32 with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology. And 7/4/1776, a date with 32 numerology. The date of the Super Bowl, February 3rd this year, can be written 3/2 like 32. So, R.I.P. to this man. He also had that August 5th birthday. National Football League equals 85. Alphabetic order and rules of numerology. Born in 45. New England 45. When you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. This is going to be Brady and Belichick's 9th Super Bowl. Here was a silly story I saw this weekend. Deputy hurt in rollover crash after rock hurled through windshield. They said that a car was passing by in the opposite direction, threw a rock at him, hit him in the head, caused him to roll over his car, and he had to be taken to a hospital. And while it's possible, you just got to wonder. January 27th, 19, a date with 47 numerology. Rock equals 47. So does policeman, so does cop, so does government, so does authority. This story happened in Kentucky, also having the Gematria 47. And that'd have to be one good throw. You know, two cars moving opposite directions. You have to be very accurate. Another story that made its way back into the news, Khalif Browder. He was the young man arrested and held for a lengthy period of time without being convicted of a crime. A story that never really made any sense. But notice the way this headline is. New York City settles for $3.3 million with family of man who spent 3 years in prison without being convicted of a crime. 33, huh? New York, of course, has the Gematria 33. The city of New York has agreed to a $3.3 million settlement with the family of Khalif Browder, who spent 3 years at Rikers Island prison without being convicted of a crime and killed himself in 2015. Browder was a 16-year-old sophomore when he was accused of stealing a backpack and arrested. Remember, when you write out 16 as a word, it sums to 33. Later charged with second-degree robbery. He was released in 2013 when the charges against him were dropped. Browder had just turned 22 when he hanged himself in 2015. The New York City Law Department confirmed the settlement of the family's civil suit. So this story, it was popular in the news when there was a lot of racially divisive propaganda, especially a lot of police shootings, white police officers shooting black men. This is one of those stories that compounded that. And remember, Rodney King, once upon a time, beaten on March 3rd, 3-3. Trayvon Martin, buried on 3-3. TM, his initials like trademark. T's the 20th letter, M's the 13th. 20 plus 13, 33. Race war equals 33. And in all those stories we saw, when, you know, it was just nonstop. Michael Brown, just all those stories. What's her name? Sandy Bland. Just so many of those stories. All of them were just coded up and down with 33. So no surprise there that they bring it back with that number. And with regards to this man dying on June 6th, 6-6, his name in Gematria sums to 66. So you just got to wonder. You just got to wonder. When you write out 33 as a word in that same cipher, in this same cipher right here, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, 33 sums to 66. Again, the code's biblical. The Bible's 66 books. The word Bible has a Gematria 33. Another story that showed up over the weekend was that a Hawaiian Airlines pilot died. And the story came out over the weekend, but he had died days earlier. He died January 24th, 19. That was the date with the 44 and 64 numerology. He was a 31-year veteran of Hawaiian Airlines, and he suddenly got sick and died on the plane. And again, it just makes you wonder. It's like, why would they do this to an airline pilot? I mean, is it a coincidence? Probably not if it's in the national news, but notice, again, 44 and 64 date numerology, kill equals 44 and 64, and the guy's name was Emil, which sounds like kill. Emil's also 44. So the last name Griffith has Gematria of 83 like murder, 43 like killing. And the story emerged on the 26th, the death of Emil. South America reportedly had a big tragedy Friday, January 25th. A dam collapsed washing away people in a small town, a number of dead, a lot more missing. That was a date with 38 numerology. Death has the gematria of 25 and 38 in the base ciphers. They said 34 people confirmed dead, murders 34. Just got to wonder when they report these numbers. Collapse also has the gematria 38, and that's the day the dam collapsed. So the name of the town where this happened, gematria of 115 and 74, like killing. Site of an iron mine. Iron mine has this gematria 97, like death. Just makes you wonder. And I'm sure you guys heard about the censorship over the weekend. I put out a video on this. YouTube said that they're changing their algorithms to make it harder for people to find conspiracy-related content. And they cited in their reasoning what happened at the Comet Pizza Shop in Washington, D.C. after Pizzagate. And then right after that, a story emerged about a fire being set at Comet Pizza. And you just had to go, what are the odds? Oh, whoops. That wasn't the blog post I wanted to link. Anyway, the fire was reportedly set days before YouTube made their announcement, but it wasn't a story carried until after YouTube made the announcement. And they said the fire was set January 23rd, 1/23, like 123. Conspiracy equals 123 with the alphabetic order. And again, the story emerges right after YouTube says they're changing their filters so it's harder for people to find conspiracy-related content, and used what happened at Comet Pizza in 2016 as one of the main justifications. That's called programming. Clearly a planned media ritual to cement their point. Another athlete was found dead recently. Story emerged over the weekend. Chris Brown, professional surfer. He reportedly was found dead on the beach January 19th. The story just came out a week later. What stands out about him being found dead January 19th is he was found dead on Hendry Beach, which equals 93. Remember, Saturn with the alphabetic order, just like Hendry Beach equals 93. And if you use the Francis Bacon cipher, where you add plus 26 for each capital letter, Saturn sums to 119. Saturn's connected to death and judgment and time. This man found dead January 19th, 119, at a location with 93 gematria, Saturn numbers. And Hendry alone has gematria of 74 and 38, like killing, 38 and 25, like death, 88, also a number that's symbolic of time. And in light of him being a surfer and found dead on the 19th, surf does equal 19. He was good friends with Kelly Slater, professional surfer, name you probably know. Kelly Slater's name equals 67, which is the 19th prime. So I just wonder, is his death for Kelly Slater's ongoing fame? I won't say that it is, but just makes you wonder. Another death over the weekend was Fatima Ali, 29-year-old, known for being a contestant on the show Top Chef. She reportedly died from cancer. And notice how they emphasize Top Chef, which has gematria 37 and 26. Cancer has the gematria 26 and 37, base ciphers. She died January 25th. Again, death equals 25. 1 plus 25 is also 26, following the cancer riddle. Top Chef sums to 73, like sacrifice. Ritual sacrifice, also 73. We talked about the 2 dead football players at age 73. Death has gematria of 97 as well as 25. Again, 97 is the 25th prime number. Our reverse base ciphers. And the date of her passing was a date with a life lesson number of 38, as well as a date with 20 numerology. Death with the base ciphers, alphabetic order, and rules of numerology 38 and 20. So she died on a fitting date for death, no doubt about it. Just 29 years old. And, you just gotta wonder. You just gotta wonder. I wasn't able to find her birthday, so I wasn't able to do that part of the decode. Also, again, just as a reminder, last week there was a lot of big abortion news on the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, which was January 22nd. Iowa overturned their heartbeat legislation, and then New York passed new legislation that says a woman can have an abortion up to the last day of her pregnancy if her life's in jeopardy. And again, what people really need to understand is just how ritualistic the government is. It's not an accident that Roe v. Wade happened on January 22nd, and it's not an accident that these two big new abortion-related decisions were on the 46-year anniversary of Roe v. Wade. Abortion sums to 122. And this is what people really need to get through their head, just how ritualistic our government is, and how often this code is utilized. Notice Roe v. Wade was in 73, sacrifice equals 73. These decisions both came on the 46-year anniversary, sacrifice also 46. You know, ultimately, an abortion is a form of sacrifice. And for today in history, the only thing that really jumped out that was real big about this day in history is in 1986, again, the Challenger exploded. Today's the 33-year anniversary. Put out a longer video on this over the weekend, and I read from chapter 12 of my book, which is about NASA by the numbers. One of the big stories of that death, or that the deaths of the people supposedly on the Challenger, was that there was a teacher aboard. And remember, 33 is the master teacher number. Using the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, teacher equals 33. And they brought attention to the 33-year anniversary of the Challenger explosion. If you missed the video I put out yesterday, definitely check it out. Just real quick, a few things. It took off from Kennedy. Kennedy sums to 33, like orange, like masonry, like secrecy, like federal, like order. And in that same cipher, teacher is also 33. It was the 25th mission of the shuttle, death 25. The story they had was from a man named Scobie. Story about the son who watched his father die, who was the commander of the rocket. But notice the accident was on the 28th. NASA, Space, Mason, Kill, they all have Gematria 28. And the next big disaster in NASA's history would be Columbia, which happened in the 28th flight of Columbia. And it was the STS-107, where 107 is the 28th prime. These missions were 17 years apart. Kill's also 17. And think about it. The Challenger was taking off. The Columbia was landing. They said 7 people were killed in the Challenger disaster. If you add 1 through 7, it's 28. And in light of it blowing up in the 73rd second, Mason, NASA, sacrifice, all 73. Challenger shuttle also 73. And then the commander, Scobie, his name 113, like how NASA was established on a date with 113 numerology. And the more recent incident, Columbia, that was the 113th NASA space mission. Also, 73 seconds can be expressed as 1:13, a minute 13, 113. So, 2 interconnected rituals. And a lot of people have done a lot of research and said that the whole thing's a hoax and none of those astronauts really died. It wouldn't surprise me at all, you know. But I'll let you do your own investigation and be the judge. If anybody wants to call in and talk about anything else, the phone line's open. It's 509-731-0567. Again, 509-731-0567. Miss Mildred said the cold weather's got school canceled tomorrow. Well, hopefully that's not too much of an inconvenience. I'm sure the kids will appreciate it. What's up, Dave? All right, here we got a call. Pennsylvania. Maybe a first-time caller. How are you, Pennsylvania?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey, so basically, I just have a bunch of questions, but I wanted to know if there's a place where I could just send you, like maybe like through an email. I wanted to know your thoughts on stuff because I can't go through it all right now.
Yeah, you can email me, gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com. I'll post it.
Okay, awesome.
I'll post it in the chat too, so you can just copy and paste it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, welcome. All right, have a good night.
I just want to say thanks for everything you do, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for signing up and listening. It means a lot.
No problem.
All right, take care.
You too.
All right, so that should be showing up in the chat there. The chat died off, huh? Was it better earlier? I'm just seeing it for the first time. I was hoping more people would be here. Wisconsin in state of emergency. Oh, that's too bad. They like to declare those state of emergencies, though. Oh, we got one here in Washington for the measles, and I don't feel too threatened. Here, I'll post the number in the chat in case somebody's trying to get that number down and I'm saying it too fast. Another caller from Ohio. What's going on, caller?
Hey, Zach. This is my second time calling you in a week, so I feel like I'm about to be a regular now. How are you tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. I was just kind of thinking of some random thoughts, but I just want to get your opinion on it. The last time we talked last week, I was telling you how before the season, when you were talking about the Rams and Aaron Donald and all that. Well, this year, I followed your channel, or your channels, I should say, for, what was it? I think the end of Super Bowl 49, whatever year that was, is when I kind of got hit to you. And so I do this thing along with you, obviously, where you are way better than me getting the research and trying to figure out, who's going to be next on the totem pole, as far as when it comes to sports, I should say. And with Zion Williamson, I've been following him since he was about 13, and, that's about as long as the channel's been around. And you could tell even back then they were going to make him the next big thing because, he was heavy on YouTube and all this other stuff. And then when I got hit to your channel, I told my brother, who also follows your work, I said, like, this is it. Like, his name is just, perfect for, what they want to sell. And I was wondering, since it's been I guess you could say, year of sixes, do you believe, or what do you think the chances are that Zion Williamson will probably go to the Final Four, or at least the national championship game? Because I believe Coach K, I think he's older than Belichick, but I think he's going for his sixth title.
I think there's a real strong chance that at Duke equals 67, the 19th prime. Here we are in 2019. Yeah, I think you got a good read on that.
Yeah, I just found it weird because, the last couple of years when they had Grayson Allen, who, by the way, I don't know how much, I know you follow sports somewhat, but Grayson Allen, I swear to you, it has to be like in Coach K's lineage. I mean, he looks like a younger version of him if you've ever seen Grayson Allen.
Sure. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, there is a bit of a resemblance there, kind of in the nose. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And it's just like weird. And into, people being vampires and stuff like that. But if there was one, Coach K looks the same now that he did, 30 years ago.
Sure. Sure.
It's just weird, but I think, with some of these coaches coming towards the end of, not saying that they are retiring, but, they're getting up there in age, I feel like there has to be some kind of link between Duke and the Patriots because, back in the early 2000s, Duke started killing it, and then obviously the Patriots, Tom Brady being in 9 of the Super Bowls out of the 11 that they went to and all that. I mean, it's just too much, man. I don't know, but I definitely wanted to see also as far as draft. I know it's early, but what would you think, or what cities do you think he would probably go to?
Zion Williamson?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, I got to think about that one. I haven't put in the time on that thought, but obviously it's going to be one of the bottom dwellers, so I'll think about it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a riddle there. I was able to figure out that he'd go to Duke when he was in high school, so we can probably figure out what NBA team he's going to go to, too.
Yeah, I started thinking of the teams that I like. I mean, not that I really care for it as much anymore. I know it's all entertaining, but the teams that I grew up liking, even though I'm here in Ohio, are like the Knicks, the Jets, all of the teams for the most part. The Yankees. But what's weird is, with that being said, I do believe that. New York is a Zionist city, Chicago, so I was thinking of kind of, Zionist Jew cities that he could go to,
Sure.
I guess, for one thing. And also, I wanted to mention this to you, as far as, the teams I like, just because it's kind of like a riddle that I've kind of figured out in my own right. Ever since Tom Brady has been a pro, pretty much the whole time that he's been a pro, Michigan's only won twice against Ohio State. I feel like, it's some sort of ritual that, Michigan has sustained. Obviously, I know it's all scripted, but, that Michigan has to think for Tom Brady to be put up on that golden boy pedestal, you know what I mean? And then on the other end of that, I noticed when, normally, when the Giants stunk, earlier in the decade, the Jets were good, like a flip-flop, and then even with as far as the Yankees, obviously the Yankees ran wild for, 30 years, and then all of a sudden, as soon as the Red Sox get good, the Yankees can't, spin a World Series anymore. I just find it kind of interesting how those things intertwine.
Right. Yeah, well, you're seeing it. Yeah, there's the trade-off. It's like one team sacrificed for the other, so yeah. Have you ever typed in the Gematria Michigan Wolverines and Tom Brady and Patriots? You should try that out and see what you see.
Yeah, I definitely will do that. I do know I was able to figure out at least 2 of the Patriots' losses this year, along with your help, because when they were playing in Detroit that night, I just felt like so many things aligned, and obviously Matt Patricia being there, and I was like, man, he's going to throw him a bone. And they were like 3 or 4 to 1 underdog. And I remember that game, and then the game that they played Tennessee, I said, this feels like a clear read too. I mean, they lost to Detroit. It makes no sense for them to lose to Tennessee, but of course, watch them get blown out or something like that. And then they did. It's just like the more that I've learned, even with news, with Trump and stuff like that, I was thinking of the end date of the the shutdown being the day with 45 Gematria or something like that, or day 45 or day 47. Does DC equal 47?
Yeah, DC's 47. It is.
Okay, and the 40. So I thought it would be one of those days, and then when they actually ended it and they showed what was it? That it was 35 days, and of course he's a Jesuit and Catholic, and Catholic 35. And I was thinking about that, but then the days Gematria was 45. I literally laughed out loud. It's just this stuff is so ridiculous, and I've been trying to get more people on your channel. I mean, I've had at least the people I know get hit to it, but it's like more people need to know this work, because when I tell people, you know, I have a friend of mine who always says, this is crazy coincidence, and then I keep taking his money, and then he still thinks it's crazy coincidence. I'm like, I'm telling you what's going to happen. Like, there should be no reason that I should need to tell you that a football game is going to end in a certain way, and it does, and you're just saying, I can't believe you know that. Like, hello, but as you say, the goyim, they don't want to learn. So, you know.
Right. Yeah, I know, man. It's your reality is a lot of our reality. We don't know what's up with these people, why they don't want to see it. So ignorance is bliss, I guess.
It is, and it's just, you know, and it's sad because it's like some of these people, they just like to be led around or led astray, and you know, it's like how many times do they have to, like, you know, beat you over the head before you figure out, hey, you know, this isn't right. There's something going on here, you know. And it's one thing, obviously, you know, I remember maybe a couple years ago you said something about, you know, sports is the ultimate medium as far as, you know, bringing people into this work. But, you know, I've even showed people, you know, your work as far as Trump, and certain things happen on certain days, like him going to the Vatican, I believe it was. And, I mean, people are just astounded, and they're just like, oh, well, maybe this happened. Like, you can't, you know, script this stuff like that. It's just, they made sure, like with the Challenger thing all day, they made sure that for 33 years, Sean McVay, who's actually from Dayton, Ohio, where I'm actually at, they made sure the first question they asked was, oh yeah, well, how old did Jesus turn? And then, of course, Jesus says 33 like a million times in these interviews. Like, geez, man. It's such a joke, but I'm sorry for taking up all your time, but I appreciate it, man.
All right, I appreciate it. Keep doing the good work, man. I appreciate you trying to spread the knowledge. You have a good night.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Well, he's got a lot of passion. Yeah, it's too bad more people don't. You know, so many people just want to keep calling everything a coincidence. It's a world of coincidence theorists, no doubt about it. So I'm wondering how to get over this censorship. This censorship's murdering my work right now. It's not reaching people like it should, because YouTube has my channel on lockdown, and trying to figure out the remedy for that. All right, Paul. Paul, are you asking me to look at my email right now and read your thoughts in the live or in private? We can look at your email right now if you want. But you just let me know. Do you want me to look at it here in the live stream, or do you want me to look at it after? Private, okay. I'll check it out after. Thanks, Paul. I saw somebody up above ask me something about Jameson Jones said, how do you view the effects that recreational marijuana has on the body? Well, I think it's a case by case thing. I mean, I'm someone that smoked marijuana for most of my adult life. I haven't smoked much at all for about a year and a half now, but I smoked marijuana all through college and pretty much almost every day until about a year and a half ago. And for me, it was fine because I was able to be productive and work hard and stay on the path I was on. But I know other people who, you know, when they smoke weed, they just want to chill out and, you know, eat some Ben and Jerry's and watch some more movies. And so it just depends on the person. And of course, indica will make you more of a couch dweller and sativa will make you more of an artist. But, you know, everything's case by case. So I know that there's a lot of real medicinal benefits from medical marijuana, you know, so I'm worried about this GMO weed that they're coming out with, though. I'm thinking this GMO weed is not a good thing. Let's see, we got another caller. What's going on, caller?
Zach. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm excellent. Hey, I should probably introduce myself. You subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is just a bunch of mirrors. Attention span of a gnat.
Okay.
You did that a few weeks ago. But anyway, I live in the Sacramento area, little town of Carmichael. But we had a police officer shot in Davis, California. Did you see anything on that story? There was a small blurb on CNN, kind of like today, with the CNN coming on and then just moving right away.
Police officer shot in Davis. I didn't see this story, no.
Yeah. So it went, her last name was Corona. That equals 33. She was 22 years old, which was right around the same time that the police officer was shot in Louisiana. You know that one.
Right. Right.
Okay, so there it is right there. I see you pulled it up. So, and there was just a few connections that I made real quick to it, but there wasn't a lot on it, and so it makes it questionable. The story went. She came to a little auto accident in Davis, which is a really little bicycle town, college town, and really, I mean that, really like, I'd call it like sticky clean. And somebody came from out of a crowd, and went over the shoulder and shot her, and then they shot him. I don't know.
It says in the article that he committed. It says in the article he killed himself, which is suspicious.
And then he turned the gun on himself. Yeah, we always hear that one. And these things really confuse me because, like then today happens with the thing in Texas where you just get a little blurb, but then they were streaming it on a local channel. So, and then I kind of think about, they talked, the one senator or CIA guy that said always take advantage of a good tragedy.
Right. I think never let a crisis go to waste. I see that this female officer's name sums to 223, which always jumps out.
Oh, I saw the 223 too. I didn't write any of that stuff down, but.
And then what's interesting is,
it was just,
speaking of today's incident, her name sums to 128, and here we are on January 28th with this police incident. I think there's something to the number 128 that I don't know about. Of course, it breaks down to 11 in numerology, the master number.
Right. Okay. And then a couple of questions. I mean, I'll leave that on your plate. I hate to do that to you, but you're better at it than me, man. You sent me a deal on Patreon with your book, which I've already bought your book. It just says, come and get it. So I'd like to thank you for that.
Welcome.
And I was, just curious as to why, but. And then, I'm kind of new at this, internet stuff because I turned off my television and told them to go away. But so I've only made a few comments on your channel, on your live streams and stuff, and I got one thing back from because I hear you talk about trolls and things like that, and just a real weird little comment back to me on something that I said, and it what's that about? Don't worry about it.
Who left the comment?
Yeah, and I don't know. Sam29.
Yeah, I'm not sure about all the people who are leaving comments. There are a lot of trolls here, so.
Okay. Yeah, because there was a real I put some stuff in there about the Davis deal and some numbers, and then I commented, and then the story goes, he turned the gun on himself. So that was the end of my comment, and then. The comment they came back with me was, and then what? And then they came back with a couple more where somebody was saying, yeah, what?
Yeah, just ignore the trolls. The trolls will just waste all your energy and time. That's what their whole job is to do. So
Right. I didn't respond to it. So
yeah.
But so and I don't got really nothing else. I don't got nothing else.
Well, I appreciate you tipping me off to this story. I didn't hear about this story, and yeah, it looks suspicious. The other thing that's with this woman's name is it sums to 79, and that's the 22nd prime number, and she's dead at 22. So
yeah. I went over all that stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but I can't sell this to people, and it's crazy. Like, and it goes to like they don't like. Tonight, I was telling a buddy of mine about a little bit of football, so I would like to use the Patriots Seahawks. 21, 21, 21, 21.
Right.
And he comes back to me and he goes, I can't do all of these numbers. And I said, it's only one number, dude, 21. You know, and I said, now if you pay attention to the number 26, you're going to see it. We're going to find a lot around the Super Bowl with this one, you know. And but he don't want to buy into it. It's cognitive dissonance. It really is.
It is, man. That's exactly what it is. And yeah, people just don't want to know. Ignorance is bliss.
So I'm just going to keep preaching it. The business card, I'm going for that, man, because everywhere I go, I got to write down your name and your website.
Right.
And I'm going to start passing out that card. I'm going to get some of those.
Okay, so
where's a link to get that?
So, do you have a Facebook page?
No.
Okay, well, smart. I mean, I don't like Facebook a lot either, but I'm just trying to think another way you could contact this guy that does this. The guy has a Facebook page set up called Daily Dose of Gematria. If you're willing to make a Facebook page, you don't have to do anything with your Facebook. You can just create the account to go on. It's free to sign up on Facebook. You just have to plug in an email address. But if you want to do that,
okay.
If you want to just sign up for Facebook and go to Daily Dose of Gematria, Daily Dose of Gematria, you just search for that at the top of the screen in the search bar. When you go there, there's a page, and you can just leave a comment and say, hey, Rich, I'd like to get some business cards, and he'll send you a message for how to do it.
Okay.
His name's Rich.
So that's the gig.
Right.
Because like I preached Patriots Eagles, and then the quarterback got hurt. I preach this around all my friends and all this, you know, and they think I'm nuts. And then before the season started this year, I told them just what you told me: Patriots, 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 and leave the NFC team alone because it doesn't matter. And so now it's, you know, coming down to the Patriots, and I get a lot of questions. But then I don't gamble, Zach. So, because it's bad for my spiritual condition, and not only in the Jesus form, you know what I mean?
I'm the same way, man. I don't like to gamble for some reason either. It just gives me this bad feeling. I don't even feel good when I win. So.
Yeah, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, and it's the same feeling whether I win or whether I lose, so it doesn't matter. So, it's the heebie-jeebies, one way or the other. So, what was I going to say about that? But the football stuff is really good for people like me because, see, I can get those people to listen a little bit too. So keep it coming. You know, don't let everybody that's money grabbing on it, you know, discourage you. Because really, I just want to take it down. I want to take it all down. I do. You know, fake NFL. You're 100% correct. If we came up with, when I was a kid, we had a town team, basketball team, that these guys lived in my hometown. And the Oakland Raiders would come and play our town team. And they were no joke, and we could beat them. That's how good our little town team was. You know? So we don't need no pro football cheater stuff. You know?
Right. We don't. Yeah. I know, man.
So
we need people to evolve past the rigged sports game. So that's the mission.
It is.
All right, brother. I appreciate the call and the support.
Thank you. Thank you much.
You're welcome. You have a good evening.
Span of a gnat.
All right. I'll look for that.
All right, buddy.
All right, take care. All right, Truth Seeker. Appreciate that. I did not hear about this story, but anytime I read about somebody shooting somebody and then committing suicide right away, it just doesn't make sense. Hello, Oklahoma.
Hey, what's up, Zach? It's Rich.
Hey, perfect.
Yeah, exactly. This is to the last caller. I hope he's still on. I'm sure he is. If he doesn't have a Facebook, am I being too loud? I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. If he doesn't have a Facebook, I can give him my phone number. As long as he has a PayPal, that's really all he needs. He can PayPal me the $17.90, and that's after tax and shipping, and I'll have it sent out to him within 5-10 minutes. If he's listening, the phone number is 918-829-2286. And if he doesn't have a PayPal, if he can figure out any other way to mail me a money order or whatever he wants to do, I'll get the 500 business cards right out to him.
Okay, awesome. You want to say your number one more time in case you didn't get it the first time?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me turn my phone up so I can hear you. The phone number is area code 918-829-2286.
Awesome. And for everybody who doesn't know, this is Rich, who runs the Daily Dose of Gematria page, and he's just been working real hard to help get the word out, which I appreciate. And he's doing it on Facebook because that's where he's at on social media. So,
I wanted to say something to the people who don't have a Facebook. Anybody can make a dummy account to use it just to share this knowledge. You don't got to put your own photo on Facebook. You don't got to send friend requests to people you know. You could just make a dummy account that's made just to share this knowledge, and then nobody even knows who you are. Even the admins on my page, their profile pictures Daily Dose of Gematria's profile pic. So,
right.
Everybody's hidden. I'm not worried about being hidden. I know you're not worried about being hidden, but some people are. And just make a dummy account. Marty McSuperfly, he mentioned he wanted to come be an admin, and just make a dummy account, man.
Right. You don't have to use your real name. You can make up some other name.
Yeah, or I use my middle name is instead of my last name, just little stuff like that. You just.
Exactly. All right, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks for doing all you do.
I hope I hear from that guy, and you have a good night.
All right. Yeah, you take care. Thanks, Rob.
Yep.
So that was perfect. He was listening. He heard the call. I thought he might be working. I know he works nights sometimes. Hello?
Hey, I don't mean to call back so often, but I was still looking at that one Super Bowl with the Titans and the Rams, and I found some pretty cool stuff. So Kurt Warner was obviously the quarterback for the Rams at the time, and he wears number 13. Numero 13 in Gematria. It sums to 99. Just like this is about to be Super Bowl 99. And that was the Super Bowl of the 99 season going into the 2000 season, the year Tom Brady was drafted. Something I found funny, Kurt Warner, he threw 41 touchdowns that season, which was his career high. And Tom Brady's going into this Super Bowl 41 years of age.
And they were both backups who came into the game after their starting quarterbacks got injured too, the Kurt Warner, Tom Brady thing.
Exactly. And if you look at the Los Angeles Rams comparison between this year and the last time they were in the Super Bowl against the Titans, both seasons they were 13-3, and they lost all 3 games on the road.
Huh.
They lost against the Eagles and the Saints twice, but the difference between games was the Lions and the Bears.
Huh.
But something cool about the Rams this season in the postseason is that their first game was 30-22. Their second game was 26-23. So the first game they scored 30, second game they scored 26. That's 56 points. Second game, so we're not going to worry about the points they had scored against them. but they've scored 56 points going into the Super Bowl. And the Patriots could become 6-5 in Super Bowls if they beat the Rams.
Right, right.
They have 46 points scored against them because 22 plus 23 equals 46. Tom Brady went to Michigan. Michigan equals 46. 199 to 46 prime. Tom Brady's the 199th overall pick. There's the 99 at the end of 199, kind of like 1999. The last time the Rams were in the Super Bowl against the Titans. And that season, Kurt Warner won the MVP for the regular season and the Super Bowl, and he became the 6th player to do so. If Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl this year, then that'll be his 6th championship. It'll be Bill Belichick's 6th championship. You know the whole riddle with 6 and 26 is Super Bowl.
Right, right. Very good work.
That's all I got for right now.
All right, man. Keep it up. You have a good night.
You do that.
See you. Hey, Berkeley, I saw you tried to call. Give me a call back. The line's open. Thanks for posting your number in the chat, Rich. I see that. Let's see. Berkeley, there he is. Hey, how are you doing this evening?
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, Zach, how are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. So I just have a few observations with the August 11th.
Okay.
I'm doing some decoding whenever I find the time. I'm wondering, have you ever ran the gematria on like the other ways they refer to the Golden Gate in Jerusalem? For example, like Gate of Mercy.
I haven't.
Okay. Can you actually go on Wikipedia and pull up the Golden Gate, Jerusalem, on your screen?
Yeah, here, I'm doing it right now.
I'll pull it up as well.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay. So if you just do a control find search for, just put SHA. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but apparently that's the Hebrew name of the Golden Gate.
Shahar Harakim.
Right. Yes. So do you mind if I drop my link in your chat real quick?
Go ahead.
I have this on a post right here, and it's not quite done, but it's a bunch of screenshots, and maybe we can go through it together, and you'll probably see the numbers right away. So I'll drop the link right now. Wait 1 second.
Okay, yeah, the link showed up. I see it.
Is the link working?
It says loading preview. Preview loading. I don't know why it's taking so long.
Sorry, let me try it again, actually. Ooh, the link is too long. I'll just go ahead and publish it right now. That way you guys can just go to the blog. And you know what my blog is. You can just go there. And
well, I see where you're going already. This Gate of Mercy equals 118, like 11/8.
There's a whole lot, Zach. So I'm publishing the post right now. Hopefully it'll be up in a second. Sorry, I don't know why my internet is so slow right now.
Wow.
But yeah, Gate of Mercy equals. Okay, I think it's up now. If you just go to my blog, it should be the top post, and we can just kind of go through it together.
Let me check it out. I should just go to glitch in your matrix, huh? I should just go there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I'm here.
Okay. So like I said, this post is not finished. I just threw a bunch of screenshots on there. I just work on this whenever I have time, so it's just a bunch of screenshots. But just starting from the top, Gate of Mercy 118 in English ordinal, like the date August 11th can be expressed 11/8. Gate of Mercy sums to 503 in the Satanic cipher, and 503 is a 96 prime.
Right.
The Golden Gate Bridge equals 96 in full reduction.
Right. So then this next thing you have here, the Shahar Ha-Rak-Kamim is 122, just like San Francisco, which is on the 122nd meridian, and Elohim in Jewish gematria is 122.
Exactly. So honestly, you can probably go down these screenshots and just start explaining these yourself. 121, like is that the revelation number.
Yeah, it is the revelation number.
And if you type in destruction of the Golden Gate, you get 121. It also equals 401. That's a little less interesting. Some of these screenshots, I kind of use different ciphers like Septenary and Chaldean, but some are more interesting than others. Like, for example, this word I cannot pronounce equals 647 in Satanic.
Right, I see that.
Guess what? 647 is the 118th prime.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? It also equals 361 in reverse Francis Bacon, and consider that the R is capitalized. We're not used to seeing something like that. And Francis Bacon is a cipher already taking into account the capitalization of letters. 361 is 19 squared. We're in the year of 2019, and chaos equals 19.
Right.
And I also just noted that this word also equals 351 in Jewish. 351 equals the 26th prime. It also equals 241 in Frank Baconis. I just couldn't help myself but to document that, because of course 26 and 53 are the numbers we're looking at this year with the Super Bowl. And then I made a note about how, you know, it probably isn't a coincidence that Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl shortly after 9/11, and now he might win his last shortly before August 11th, right? Both against the Rams. So clearly there's some sort of parallel there.
Right. Yeah. No, this is a trip, man. This is really good work to look at these words. Yeah, I can't believe that alternate name sums to 118.
74, and this is the gate that apparently Jesus walked through on a donkey in the Bible. 151 and 74 is, you know, the Jesus numbers.
Right.
The Gate of Mercy also equals 227, just like the Golden Gate Bridge is 227 meters tall.
Right.
The Gate of Mercy also equals 641 in Satanic. It is the 116th prime, and this gate is also referred to as the Eastern Gate of the Temple Mount in biblical text. 116 in full reduction and septenary.
Which is kind of like 911 upside down.
Right, exactly. And I see here that I wrote 873. The reason why I wrote 873 is because that word which I cannot pronounce, which also is another way of saying the Gate of Mercy. If you type that in the Hebrew Gematria, you get the value 873. So I was just kind of playing around with that, and I noticed it also equaled 116. So I just documented that as well. This post is not very organized, but we're just going down here. This Shushan Gate is apparently another name for it. There's a bunch of names for it. 156, we know that number well. 156 prime is 9/11. Bunch of 57s, 222, like Order Out of Chaos. August 11th, 69, just like the Gate of Shushan. Golden Gate Bridge, 69 in septenary. 102, the Gate of Shushan in reverse single reduction. San Francisco, California, and the most pure cipher is 102. The translation of Golden Gate Bridge in Hebrew ordinal is 120. I saw this number come up a lot as I was digging deep into these decodes, so I just documented 120.
Illuminati with the alphabetic order is 120. We were talking about how the book about Behrendt Trump came out in 1896, 120 years before Trump became president-elect, and then Inauguration Day is 120.
That was today you mentioned that. I remember, yeah. Illuminati equals 120, right? 120 years. And if you think about the doomsday clock, we're sitting 2 minutes to midnight, right? That's 120 seconds.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
120 in secondary.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's a good point about 120 seconds. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Tisha B'Av 2019 in Chaldean also equals 120. So like I said, I just saw this number come up again and again, so I just documented it just to document it. 9/11 2001, the way most people say that date, it equals 120 in the most pure cipher. What else do we have here? Tisha B'Av 2019 equals 122, like Golden State, San Francisco, both equaling 122. Eastern Gate of the Temple Mount in Chaldean, 122. Again, that name, which I cannot pronounce, Shahar Harakamim or whatever it is, also 122 in ordinal.
Right.
Yeah, that's basically it. There's a whole bunch here. Oh, I'll close with this. if you scroll all the way down, I know you did a decode on the movie, or is it a TV series, Dig, also relating to this date.
Right.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but 811 is actually the number you call before you like dig, I guess, because of let's see here.
Oh, for power lines and stuff in the ground.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
That's a trip, man. That's a really good thought. Huh. Yeah, because that show is called Dig. That's about, you know, the Zionist plot to destroy the Temple Mount for the Third Temple. Huh, that's funny.
Right. So I'll try to polish this and edit it as soon as I can. But just wanted to get this to you because I was doing this decode, and you know, in one night I found all this. It's just so much, and I noticed, you know, through searching your blog, maybe you hadn't looked up those alternate definitions of the Golden Gate in Jerusalem. So
I had it, man. That Gate of Mercy is really tripping me out. The 118 thing. That one really.
Sure enough, there were a whole bunch of numbers. So I'm sure if you go back and do it yourself, you'll see a bunch more. So just wanted to get that to your attention.
Well, you did. Great work. I appreciate it.
All right, Zach. Take care.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too, man. Take care. All righty. Does anybody else want to call in tonight? I was going to try to keep the podcast to around an hour each night, but we're going over that today. It's okay. It's the first episode at this time slot. If everybody's called in and said their piece, we can save it for tomorrow. Hopefully we can figure out how to get more people signed up for this show so we can hear from a bunch of different voices. Yeah, John Madden. I got my eyes on John Madden. 82's Vesica Pisces number, 83 football. John Madden's day's got to be numbered. That's interesting about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's still ticking, apparently. Her documentary's up for an Oscar. I'm wondering if maybe we'll hear about Ruth's demise around the time of the Oscars, since now she's nominated. But John Madden hockey player too. I didn't know that. All right, you guys, we can call it a night. Be back tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 Eastern. Thank you for everyone who participated in the chat and called in tonight. Have a great evening, truth seekers. Till next time.